Howdy, Havasu Insurance fans. My name is Harold Sharp and I am with Havasu Insurance. And just to let you know, our phone number is 928-846-8003. Today I'm going to talk to you about insurance coverages. I'm going to give you a basic idea of what things cover. This is not a legal telling you this is everything it covers or anything like that. You might want to seek legal counsel or something to that effect for your insurance policy. We sell for a lot of different insurance companies. No two are 100% alike. They're very similar in nature, but just going to try and cover some basics. And I want to do this because a lot of people come in and none of them really understand what these things really mean. And I will tell you right now, over 95% don't know. So 19 out of 20 people have no clue what any of this means. They walk in, they get the coverages, they may think they know what they're talking about 1 minute, but if I ask them one simple question about it, none of them are able to answer it, and I don't try and do that at all. What I do try to do for the people who come in, and even on the phone, is try to best explain it. So I'm doing this video to try and explain it prior to you coming in or calling, or just so you have a background of basic information for what the coverages are. So we're going to talk about BIPV, and this is for liability. And what it means is liability unto others. And the BI stands for bodily injury, and the PD stands for property damage. And you go, but it talks about two things, but it's got three numbers. Nice and confusing, isn't it? Thank you, insurance companies. The bodily injury takes up two of the three lines. It's 100, 300. Now, most people would think that means I'm covered for 300,000. And unfortunately, that's not what it means. What it really means is you're covered for 100,000 per person, up to 300,000 for three or more people. So it's up to 300,000, 100,000 per person, and up to 300,000. That last number on the end is the property damage, which means up to $100,000 property damage. Now I want you to understand something. This is unto others. This is not for people in your car. So for people who like to give people rides, may not be such a good idea. We're going to talk about that in another video, and it's going to say maybe you don't want to give other people rides. So this is policy limits, and while it says 100, 300, 100, these are in the 100,000s. So 100,000. So if you accidentally ran into somebody and ran them over in a crosswalk, the most your insurance company is going to pay out 100,000. Their attorney is going to sue you in the millions. I want you to think about that drop in the bucket. We're going to talk about that. You might want to consider something called an umbrella policy. An umbrella policy goes over and above what your main policy does. So I want you to understand and look for what an umbrella policy does. We'll talk about that in yet another video. So 100, 300, 100. Liability unto others does not cover the people in your vehicle. So be careful when you're driving. You should be careful anyway. The next line or two lines, I like to link them together because it talks about uninsured motorist or underinsured motorist. This is where when somebody else is at fault and they hit you, and whether they're uninsured or have very little coverage. And let's talk about very little coverage. The states have minimums. See that 15, 30, 10? I don't know if you can see it. So what I'll do is I'll actually click on it just for a minute. That 15, 30, 10 is the state minimum. Here at Havasu Insurance, we don't sell 15, 30, 10. We just refuse to sell it. And there's a reason why. If you thought 100, 300, 100 was a drop in the bucket, I want you to think about what 15, 30, 10 can do to your portfolio should someone have an accident. So I want you to look at that for a minute. So you got, if somebody ran into you and they're underinsured and people in your car got hurt or you got hurt, this is where the underinsured motorist down here and the uninsured motorist, because if they didn't have insurance at all or you got hit and run, your insurance company pays for your losses up to these policy limits in good faith. And that's why it's good to have uninsured motorist and underinsured motorist. A lot of people don't know what these mean, and they think all sorts of things. And I've heard one of the best ones I hear repeatedly is, isn't that where if I get in an accident with someone and they're uninsured, they have to sign a disclaimer that they're uninsured right then and there on the spot? No, that's not what it means. They either are uninsured, you got their license plate number, the state knows whether they're insured or not, because the insurance companies actually send all this stuff to the state anyhow. So a police officer would be able to tell in a police report whether or not that person had coverage in an instant. And it's backed up almost every week, in case you're wondering. Medical payments. Medical payments is unto others, and it's whether or not you're at fault. So while the bodily injury and property damage, these pay out when you're this pays out when you're at fault. The medical payments doesn't matter who's at fault. But what it is, it's other people, meaning other people in your car. It's not the driver, it's other people. And this is per person. So if you got 4 people in your car, that $25,000 turns into $75,000 for the 3 others that's in your car. Maximum payout per person is $25,000. And you need to understand that's what it covers. And in small accidents, it could be a very good thing. And that's why I suggest people go to the max on medical payments. I also suggest people go higher here and go to $500,000, and we'll explain that later, but we'll talk about the limits on that later on. And I'm also going to show you what the differences are on another video as well. But let's keep explaining, let's go further on. So the medical payments we know covers whether you're at fault or not at fault. The bodily injury is when you're at fault and it's unto other people. The uninsured motorist covers you and the people in your car when someone else is at fault, but they have either no insurance or very little insurance. Now we're going to talk about comp and collision. This is for your vehicle. In this comp and collision, these are called deductibles. The collision is when you get into an accident. And so that means you're going to fork out, like in this case here, I've chosen $1,000. This is actually for my wife and I on our 2 cars. I'm going to fork out $1,000 before the insurance company pays a nickel. So if I go in and claim a door ding for $250, I'm an idiot. But if I have a big problem and my car, this one's worth about $30,000 give or take, and it gets totaled, I'm forking out $1,000 and they're going to supposedly pay the rest. Of course, that's all negotiable with an insurance company. Comprehensive is not a collision, it's not an accident. Your car gets stolen. Your house catches on fire and so does the car. Well, it doesn't go under your homeowner's insurance, it goes under your auto insurance. So when you have a car or any car that's stored in the garage, anything with a motor, a boat, whatever, motorcycle, anything you have, you need to have its own insurance for if it has a motor. It doesn't go on your homeowner's policy. It always has its own motor vehicle policy, whether it's a boat, a motorcycle, and a car. Now, all these things we talked about are very similar in nature, whether it's a car, an ATV, side-by-side, a boat, motorcycle, RV, truck. They're all very similar. They all have similar nature coverages. They might not have the same amounts, but they have similar nature coverages. It's bodily injury unto others, uninsured motorist, underinsured motorist, and if you're in a boat, it's very similar. It has the same type of a deal. They may not call it motorists, they may call it boaters, for that matter. Medical payments for people in your vehicle, and whether or not you have some sort of accident and you lose your boat or something. These things, this is not a boat, obviously. This isn't a vehicle, a motor vehicle policy, but it's very similar in nature. And understanding from here to here, just those items, 2, 4, 6 items, is really important to understand on your policy. And that's why I'm trying to give you a basic understanding. I'm not trying to give you legal conjecture or anything like that, but it's an idea of what does this cover? And now we're going to go ahead and move on to another video, or you can go ahead and move on to it. You want to understand what's a good coverage to have. These are the minimums here at Havasu Insurance that we require our clients to carry. You don't have to get coverage through us, but at the same time, we don't have to cover you. So we don't take on clients that say, I want the minimum state requirements. And the reason for doing so is very simple. It's not enough coverage for anything. It barely covers a broken arm. So I'm going to finish this up and say thank you for checking out our video and learning a little more about insurance. And it's always wise to watch a video like this before you go out and get your coverages so you have an understanding what you get. Remember, these are the max payouts, whatever you happen to choose, for what an insurance company is going to pay in good faith on an accident that you have. It doesn't mean that if someone else is at fault, they go out and pay that amount. It means this is what happens when you're at fault. These two, it's when someone else is at fault and it pays towards you if they happen to not be covered. This medical payments, doesn't matter who's at fault. And here again, the comprehensive, car gets stolen, burned in a fire, something to that effect, or a collision, that's an accident. These are just deductibles, and that's pretty much what we're going to talk about. Here again, I'm Harold with Havasu Insurance. I look forward to helping you out. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us, 928-846-8003. We sell insurance, by the way, in Arizona, California, Nevada, Utah, and coming soon to Colorado. Thank you.